You've heard of VLANs and how they segregate a physical network into separate broadcast domains. Today, I'm going to talk about a specific type of VLAN you may not be familiar with: private VLANs. Private VLANs split the primary VLAN domain, which is also a segregated network, into multiple isolated broadcast subdomains. There can be three types of VLANs within a private VLAN: primary, community, and isolated. It's like the nesting concept, creating VLANs inside a VLAN. This is an advanced topic. If you're just looking to set up regular VLANs on your Cisco Business switch, follow the link in the description to get you to the right place. In this episode of Cisco Tech Talk, I'll show you how to configure private VLANs on your Cisco Business 250 or 350 switch. Next. Today, I'll be using a CBS 350 switch, but the steps are the same for the CBS 250 series as well. Log into your switch. Make sure that you're in advanced mode by selecting this option from the drop-down menu at the top right-hand side of the screen. Select VLAN Management. You will already be in VLAN Settings, where you can add a new VLAN. Click the Add button and enter the VLAN ID number. For this example, I'll use 100. In the next line, give the VLAN a name. I'll use Management. Click Apply to save. Now repeat the same process to create two more VLANs. In my case, I'll create 200 and 300. Once that's done, close the window and you should see the three new VLANs that you've created. Now, to configure a private VLAN, select Private VLAN Settings and click Add. In the pop-up window, select the VLAN that you want as the primary. I'm going to use VLAN 100. After that, select the isolated VLAN ID from the drop-down menu. I'll use 200. Select VLAN 300 to add to the community VLAN and click the caret over to the right to add it to the selective community VLANs. To save these settings, click Apply. Close the window. Here, you can see that my primary VLAN is 100, the isolated VLAN is 200, and the community VLAN is 300. Keep in mind that you can use multiple VLANs for both community and isolated VLANs. Today, I'll just use one in each. To apply the private isolated VLAN, community VLAN, and promiscuous VLAN to the ports on the switch, select the Interface Settings menu under VLAN Management. Select the port you want to configure and click the Edit icon. In the pop-up window, next to Interface VLAN Mode, select Private VLAN Host for your community, and then Isolated Private VLAN Ports or Private VLAN Promiscuous for the promiscuous ports. In this example, I'll start with an isolated private VLAN port. To do this, I'll select Private VLAN Host. For the primary VLAN, I'll select VLAN 100, which was configured earlier. The secondary VLAN host will be 200i for isolated. Click Apply and close the window. You'll see that the configuration on port GE1 is a private VLAN host as primary VLAN 100, and the secondary VLAN is 200. Next, select port 2 to configure the community private VLAN. To do this, click the port and select the Edit icon. Under Interface VLAN Mode, select Private VLAN Host. The primary VLAN is 100, and in this case, the secondary VLAN host is 300C for community. Click Apply to save your settings. In the same edit window, switch to port 3 so that you can configure the promiscuous port. This way, you don't have to exit to select the ports for configuration. Here, select Private VLAN Promiscuous as the Interface VLAN mode. Once again, the primary VLAN is 100. In this case, I'll select both 200i and 300c by holding Shift or Control and clicking both. Click the caret to the right to add them to the secondary VLANs. When that's done, click Apply and close the window. As you can see, in my case, both ports GE2 and GE3 have been configured. Port 2 is configured as the host with Community VLAN 300. Port 3 is configured as promiscuous, with Community VLAN 300 and Isolated VLAN 200 for the secondary VLANs. Repeat the configuration for isolated and community ports for each port you want to be part of the private VLAN. I'll configure a few more ports, 1 for isolated and 2 more for community. Now I have port 4 for the isolated VLAN 200. Ports 5 and 6 also have community VLAN 300. Any host on a port that is part of isolated VLANs, like 200 in this case, will not be able to communicate with any other host on any other port. Any host on a port that is part of a community VLAN, like 300 in this example, will be able to communicate with any other host on that community VLAN, but not with any other community or isolated VLAN host. You did it! You've successfully configured promiscuous, isolated, and community private VLAN ports within a private VLAN. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.